Harrell's first volleyball memory takes us back to her hometown of Plymouth, Indiana. It also involves her little sister, Ashley.
I remember we were probably, let's see, I was probably 5, so she was probably 3, maybe a little older than that, 6 and 4. And we would play volleyball in the living room. We'd set up a net with some furniture my mom had in the middle of the floor. We'd stick my mom's Beanie Babies on the other side, and we'd just smash balls at them with a beach ball in the living room. My mom's classic line was, "I can't have anything nice around here." We broke lots of things, but as my dad would say, all worth it.
And it would be Mr. and Mrs. Harrell who would foster their daughter's love of volleyball. Haley's mom, Julie, would lay the groundwork. As a freshman and sophomore, Julie helped guide Plymouth High School to consecutive state runner-up finishes.
And that was back when there was just single-class high school volleyball, so that was a big deal. My mom was a setter. She actually set in both of those games, so that's really cool. And that's kind of where my dad kind of came in. So they met my mom's freshman year of high school. My dad would watch her games, and he just fell in love with, obviously, my mom, but the game of volleyball too. So then, yeah, as I grew up, they played beach volleyball all summer long. My sister and my brother, when he came along, we would play in the sand, making sand castles every weekend when they were playing. And then we grew up for them to coach us and just continue to encourage us to play. So it's always been kind of a family affair playing volleyball.
Haley's parents also shared their love of volleyball with the community of Plymouth. That is where they met Heather Delp. TU volleyball fans will remember her by her maiden name of Pickerel.
My dad helped run the club here, the local club, and Steve and Julie agreed to help coach a team, and I was a 5th grader. And they both coached me, and that was the first time that I got to meet them.
The Harrells would coach Delp for a few more seasons after that initial meeting. Delp would go on to have a stellar career as a setter at Plymouth High School, where she was named an Indiana All-Star in 1994. After graduation, Delp began another impressive volleyball career at Taylor University.
I guess I would say that I was looking at some bigger schools. And my current husband is a Taylor grad, was a great basketball player, and we started dating his freshman year in college, really, and went to visit the school. And I always have a moment when I talk about this, but I pulled onto campus, had never seen it, and I had one of the most, just Holy Spirit moments that just came over me, and I knew, without even seeing the team, I was supposed to be there. And it took some time to convince my family a little bit, but once we made that decision and got there, everybody was worried I was going for my husband. That was where I was supposed to be.
Delp would etch her name into the Taylor record books over her 4 years in the purple and gold. A 4-year letter winner, Delp would dish out a program-best 7,355 assists. That mark is also the second most in NAIA history. Delp was also named an honorable mention All-American and was inducted into the Taylor Athletics Hall of Fame in 2005. And for everything she gave to the volleyball program, Delp got even more back in return.
It was awesome. I mean, I still get emotional talking about it because it means so much to me. It's everything I thought it would be and more. And I remember the last game thinking, not that I don't get to play volleyball anymore, but I don't get to wear that Taylor uniform anymore.
After graduating from TU, Delp and her husband moved back to Plymouth, which gave her a front row seat for the career of the next standout setter in town, Haley Harrell.
Just awesome to watch her. I mean, she's one of those kids, you walk in the gym and you see them and you think, love it. Like, you can't not watch her because she just does so many awesome things that people don't necessarily see because it's not this big spike. But also, she was in our Fellowship of Christian Athletes that my husband runs here out of our home. And so just getting to know her through that and having get-togethers and you know, she's special. She's super kind, always helpful, always a competitor.
At Plymouth High School, Harrell was a 4-year starting setter, but her pursuit to play in college was put on hold until after her senior season was over.
So I was pretty late in the game, so I kind of needed some help if I was going to play somewhere. I just hadn't gotten back to anybody that had reached out, which wasn't a ton because, again, I'm a 5'5" setter that could probably play as a DS, but I would have to give a campaign as to why I could do that because I don't have film of being a libero. But Heather, that's when she really stepped in and helped. And we kind of reached out to her and said, I think Haley is going to consider Taylor and might want to go there, through my dad's encouragement, because he knew how successful Heather was here and the incredible things that she has to say about this place. So that's kind of when we started talking about it, and then Heather was a big help reaching out to people and putting in some good recommendations.
So Taylor had already kind of recruited a taller setter, and so they weren't really looking. And I called Angie Fincannon up and said, she was the athletic director at the time, and said, hey, you have to get this girl in the door. Like, she needs to be looked at. So I said, you know, she reminds me a lot of me. I like her spunk. I like her competitive. She does a lot of things that people don't see. And so, yeah, I think Angie helped push that through. And then things happened because God has a way of making things happen, and the other setter kind of backed out.
Coach Mother called and she said, hey, Haley, I know we talked a few weeks ago and I offered you the walk-on position. Well, our setter that we had an offer out to, she decided to go somewhere else, so I'd love to offer the setting position back up to you. This is the money that we can give you. What do you say? And I was like, holy cow, like, okay, God, I see you, right? Like, I just had to make the decision for myself that I was going to Taylor not to play volleyball, but because I knew that that's where I was supposed to go. And then he totally took care of the rest and just paved the way more than I ever even imagine would have happened.
As a freshman, Harrell sat behind Julia Fahey, a senior who had been named the Crossroads League Setter of the Year a season prior. When Harrell got her shot as a sophomore, she made the most of it. Harrell led the league in assists and also was named the Crossroads League Setter of the Year. In all, Harrell started her final 3 seasons at Taylor, earning all league honors after each campaign. She also joined Delp in an elite club, as Harrell became the 8th Trojan to tally 3,000 career assists.
It still doesn't feel real, honestly, to be up there and included in that level of a volleyball player, because Heather has done some incredible things. And she's so humble, it would never tell you if you didn't know, but she is one heck of a volleyball player. She's so good. So to be up there in that elite group, like you called it, that's been really cool. And just such a cool accomplishment to know that hopefully I made her proud and I made the town of Plymouth proud, you know, just to kind of be united in that after all that she's helped me with and coached me and just helped me to get here. It was cool to feel like maybe I'm giving back a little bit and reaching that goal, so that was cool.
I don't know if there's anything else to add, but just she's super special and her family means a lot, and they did a lot for me in my volleyball career. So I'm super proud of her. Super proud of all the things that she's accomplished, and definitely not surprised. And glad that she got to experience Taylor.
And just like Delp, Taylor University and the volleyball program have left a lasting mark on Harrell.
Being a part of the Taylor volleyball program is such a privilege and such an honor, and the relationships that I have built through this program are ones that are going to last forever and ever. So really what sticks out is the friendships that I have, to come into a group of 15 to 18 young women and to not have the drama that can happen in high school, and to not have just any of that, but to have just unity and to just play a game with so much joy alongside your best friends it's absolutely incredible, and I wish it upon everybody to get that experience. So having those relationships, getting to play under Coach Luthi, she's really meant a lot to me and been such a great mentor above everything else, to watch her interact with us and with her kids and with other people. She's just such a God-loving woman, and it's been really cool to be led by her the last 3 years. So that's been so much fun, and then I have to highlight playing with my sister again for 2 years. That's been a crazy ride because she is something else, but it's been awesome, and I wouldn't trade it for the world.